The Secret World of Arrietty is a fantasy film released in the year 2010. The story follows Arietty, who belongs to a family of borrowers and lives with her parents in the recesses of another family's residence. Although they remain hidden from the humans, they occasionally go on borrowing missions to retrieve basic home supplies from the homeowner. However, things get complicated for them when Arietty befriends a young boy, Sho, and makes her presence visible to humans, causing her family to change their home. The film starts with a young boy named Sho remembering the week in summer that he spent at his mother's home. He's seen driving with his great aunt, Sadako, to the house where he feels the presence of someone special in the garden. After Sho leaves, a tiny borrower girl named Arietty reveals herself and runs into her home through an underground air vent after taking some of the bay leaves from the garden. In her home, Arietty's mother, Homily, enters her room and scolds her for always keeping the room messy. All of a sudden, she notices the bay leaves in the room. Arietty quickly gives them to her, making her happy. Arietty's mother fears that humans could detect their presence, and so she warns her to be careful as the world is full of dangerous creatures. Arietty's father, Pod, arrives home and reveals that there's a new boy who's arrived at the house. Arietty seconds him, as she sees him too, making her mother fearful that Arietty might have been seen. But Arietty assures her that she kept herself hidden. She insists on carrying out her first ever borrowing mission in the night, and despite her mother's disapproval, Pod agrees to take Arietty on it. Pod makes Homily understand that Arietty will be 14 years old soon, and that she must learn how to survive on her own. In the house, Sadako guides Sho to ask for anything he wants from the housemaid, Haru. Meanwhile, Arietty feels excited and gets ready for her first borrowing mission. Before she and Pod are about to leave, Homily asks them to bring tissue paper and a cube of sugar so they can enjoy shiso juice and tea. The father-daughter duo set off for their mission, leaving Homily concerned about their safety. Arietty keenly watches her father's tactics to learn how he borrows things for their survival. As the duo reach the homeowner's kitchen, Arietty is stunned to see everything so huge and magnified. Pod introduces her to the world of human beings, and then jumps off a kitchen cabinet using a rope. By making his shoes gluey, he climbs on another cabinet to attain a sugar cube and is successful in it. Arietty quickly grabs the sugar cube and places it securely in her bag. To obtain the tissue paper, the duo set out to go into a bedroom after steering clear of the rats. Pod enters a dollhouse that the house owner had built for their dolls, and Arietty is head over heels after seeing it. She expresses her love for it, and Pod tells her that they cannot borrow things like these, or else human owners will find out about them. The duo then enter a bedroom through the dollhouse, and they climb the tissue box placed on the side table of a bed. Just when Arietty and Pod are about to tear a piece of the tissue, Sho sees Arietty, since it's his bedroom. Arietty becomes scared, and in her fright, she drops the sugar cube. While Arietty and her father are running away, Sho whispers to her that she shouldn't be afraid of him, but Arietty quickly leaves. Before entering their tiny house, Arietty apologizes to her father for her carelessness and reveals to him that the boy saw her in the garden earlier. Pod asks her not to be afraid and to keep it a secret from her mother to prevent her from worrying. As the duo enter their home, Pod tells his wife that his torchlight stopped working, which hindered their borrowing mission. Arietty shows her mother her very first borrowing, which is a beautiful pin. The next morning, while it's raining, Arietty feels dispirited, but all of a sudden, she sees someone keeping a sugar cube along with a note near the air vent. Arietty quickly runs outside to see who it was, and she's surprised to see that it was Sho. However, following her father's advice, she does not take the sugar cube or the note to keep their existence concealed. Arietty then tells her parents about it, and her mother is scared that it's a trap, and they'll have to move out soon. In the afternoon, after doing the laundry, Homily goes to rest and Arietty sneaks to the air vent to read the note that says, "You forgot something." She becomes worried and gets ready to go and sort out the matter. After sneaking out of the house, she reaches Sho's bedroom window and throws the sugar cube through a window, telling Sho to leave her and her family alone. Desperate to talk to her, Sho starts a conversation with her. He asks Arietty about her family, and upon knowing that she lives with her parents, Sho envies her as his parents are always busy at work. The two introduce themselves to each other, but Arietty keeps herself hidden. When Sho insists to see her face for a moment, their conversation is interrupted by an attacking crow. As Sho desperately tries to protect Arrietty from the crow, Haru intervenes and beats the crow to a pulp, ejecting it out of the window. After Haru leaves the room, Sho is sad to see that Arrietty has already left. While Arrietty is returning home, she's caught by her father, who's disappointed at her for putting the family in danger. Pod then discusses with his wife that they have been detected and that they must start looking for a new place to reside. Meanwhile, Haru starts searching for pest control companies as she wants to get rid of the tiny borrowers that she's seen quite a few times. Later, at dinner, Aunt Sadako inquires Sho about the crow accident, and through their conversation, it becomes clear that Sho is sick and has been there to attain peace of mind and heart as he's going to undergo an operation. Sho's parents are divorced, which is why they keep traveling separately for business work. Sho asks Aunt Sadako about the dollhouse that is kept in his room. Sadako then tells him that the dollhouse was custom-made, especially ordered in from England by their father. Sadako's father always believed in the presence of tiny people living in their house, which is why he got the dollhouse built, but according to Sadako, the tiny individuals have not been seen since, or might have gone extinct. She then shows Sho the dollhouse from the inside, and Sho is stunned to see the beautiful and intricately detailed appliances in it. Sadako feels sad that her father's dream never came to fruition as the tiny people disappeared. Later, Sho leaves a flower with a note at the air vent to lure Arrietty out and goes to lay down by the side of a lake. After a while, it starts to rain heavily, so Sho returns back home. Meanwhile, Pod returns home injured from his borrowing mission. He twisted his leg and was escorted home by another tiny boy, Spiller. Both Arrietty and Homily are stunned to see a new borrower. They feel indebted to him for saving Pod's life and offer him tea. Homily asks him if he knows more borrowers. Spiller informs them that there are more people of their kind across the river. Upon knowing that there are more borrowers, Homily jumps with excitement, thinking that her cousin Luppy must be alive. After Spiller leaves, Pod tells Homily that Spiller knows a territory where they can seek refuge, as that place has many more borrowers. Homily feels sad as she loves the place that she is living in at the moment and wishes that she never had to move out. Before Arrietty bids farewell to Spiller, she asks him to visit them soon. Seeing Homily preparing to move out, Arrietty goes to her father and makes him understand that not all human beings are evil. But all of a sudden, their house starts shaking and a disaster seems to be hitting them. It turns out that Sho is removing the floorboard concealing the household and replacing their kitchen with the kitchen from the dollhouse so that Arrietty and her family do not leave. Homily faints after seeing the kitchen that she's always dreamt of. Just then, Haru returns home and finds a mini teapot lying on the stairs. Meanwhile, Arrietty and her family start packing their necessary stuff to get out of the house as soon as possible. Before leaving, Arrietty decides to meet Sho, and so, she goes to see him. As soon as Sho lays his eyes on Arrietty, he is awestruck by her beauty. Arrietty tells Sho that she is a borrower and is not meant to be seen. She further elucidates that her ancestors were borrowers too, who lived by borrowing things from human beings to make a living for themselves. Sho's kitten, Naya, tries to attack Arrietty, but Sho restrains her. Arrietty slates Sho for causing trouble, due to which she and her family are forced to leave. However, she makes it clear that her family will find a way to survive. Sho apologizes for his mistake and reveals that he's had a heart problem ever since he was a child, for which he's going to undergo surgery next week. Since the operation is quite risky, Sho has no hope left in him and is mentally ready that he will die soon. Meanwhile, inside the house, Haru notices that the floorboards have been disturbed. As she removes the floorboard, she's surprised to see the dollhouse's kitchen and Homily in it. Homily becomes frightened and starts screaming loudly. Arrietty hears her mother's screams and rushes to save her. But before she could do so, Haru captures Homily in her fist and then places her in a jar, sealing it with cling film. She then keeps the jar with Homily inside the pantry to keep her hidden. Arrietty returns home and is worried to see that Homily is not there. She notices that the ceiling has been lifted and decides to seek help from Sho. As she returns to the lake, she's sad to see that Sho has already left. Meanwhile, as Sho returns to his room, Haru locks the door from the outside to keep him out of the plan that she's going to pursue. She then calls a pest control company, asking them to come as soon as possible and trap the creatures that she is looking out for without killing them. In the meantime, Arrietty knocks at Sho's window and tells him the entire situation. Seeing Arrietty shedding tears, Sho offers to help and the duo set out on a mission to find Homily. Sho realizes that his door is locked, so he jumps out from the window to enter the house from the adjacent room only to find its window locked as well. Arrietty offers to help and sneaks in through the crevices to unlock the window. The duo finally enter the house, after which Sho opens the floorboard and removes the dollhouse's kitchen from it. He then runs to the house's kitchen, despite his heart condition, which does not allow him to run fast. He enters the kitchen and the two of them start looking for Homily. All of a sudden, Haru appears and is surprised to see that Sho is out of his room. Sho asks for some warm milk, and while Haru is busy preparing it for him, Arrietty enters the pantry. She starts looking through the shelves and finally succeeds in finding her mother. She quickly takes Homily out of the jar, rescuing her safely. Finally, the pest control company arrives, and shortly after, Sadako also arrives. Haru tells her about the borrowers and her plans to trap them, which Sadako does not believe. In the meantime, Sho destroys all traces of the borrowers' presence. When Haru takes Sadako to show the borrowers' hiding place, she's shocked to see that everything is cleared. She then takes Sadako to the dollhouse to show her the missing kitchen, but the kitchen is back in place. Haru loses her mind and rushes to the pantry to show Sadako the trapped Homily, but is astonished to see that Homily has escaped. With nothing to exterminate, the pest control team leaves the house. At night, Pod, Homily, and Arrietty leave the house with their luggage and set out to go meet Spiller to change their home. When the family waits for Spiller, Arrietty apologizes to her parents for causing them trouble, due to which they have to leave their lovely house. After a while, Naya spots Arrietty and she rushes to Sho, leading him to Arrietty's location. Finally, the borrowers meet Spiller at the lake and Pod starts loading the luggage in a floating teapot. Just before they're about to depart, Sho arrives and gets to meet Arrietty for the last time. Spiller is enraged to see Sho and aims to shoot him, but seeing Arrietty with him, he aborts his plan. Sho gives her a sugar cube, telling her that she will always be a part of his life and thanks her for giving him the courage to live. Arrietty is in tears, and before leaving, she gives him her hair clip for good luck. The borrowers then leave in a floating teapot along with Spiller in hopes of finding a new place to live. The film ends with Spiller giving Arrietty a piece of berry while floating in the teapot. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like and comment your thoughts down below. If you'd like to stick around, check out these other videos from the channel. And before you leave, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more anime in minutes.